Freedom Square TV. We are reaching you from our Enugu studios, and of course Enugu is the southeast part of Nigeria. Today, we beam our satellites on Ebonyi State, the salt of the nation, a state that has quietly become a model of political reconciliation and administrative maturity under the leadership of Right Honorable Francis Nwifuru. Governor Francis Nwifuru, before becoming governor in 2023, served 2 terms as Speaker of the Ebonyi State House of Assembly, one of the longest serving in Nigeria's 4th Republic. Known for his calm demeanor and conflict resolution approach, he successfully navigated the often turbulent political environment of Ebonyi State. And of course, you will agree with me that Ebonyi, until he became governor, had been a theater of the absurd, building bridges across party lines and ensuring legislative stability. As governor, he has prioritized reconciliation, reabsorbing opposition figures, engaging critical stakeholders, and maintaining peace among traditional political and religious institutions. His governor's mantra, people first, politics second, has earned him growing admiration beyond the Ebonyi State. So, this morning, we'll be looking at the topic, Governor Francis Nwifuru, a Mediator Extraordinaire. Before I go further, let me say that between Tuesday last week and Saturday, I had the rare privilege, together with the past president of the Uchenna Mediators and Conciliators, Uchenna Cyril Anioke of Nigeria, to be in Ebonyi State. Prior to our visit, we had trained the judges and the magistrates, all, from the chief judge to the least, if there's anything like the least magistrate in Ebonyi State. And of course, that was done. It could have been done without the active approval of His Excellency the Governor, who himself was trained in 2020 when he was Speaker and was inducted in 2021 as an associate member of the institute. And so ICMC was built to have a special induction in Ebonyi State for the judges and magistrates. There was talks about giving the governor an honorary fellowship. When he had it, he said, no, I cannot become an honorary fellow when in the first instance I've been trained and I'm an associate. I would rather take the full time and be trained to be made a fellow. And I remember his banter. He said, well, each time they call say you're a fellow, I will say I earned it. It's not an awarded thing. So, for 2 days, 28th and 29th, you may not believe it if you are watching this program, Governor Francis Nwifuru brought out time, in spite of his busy schedule. I sat with myself, Uchenna John, Cyril of Nigeria, and our course coordinator, fellow of the institute as well. The first day on the 28th was at the executive office of the governor. He stopped all government functions and we took hours to drill him. We did not just drill him, he took out his pen and paper and wrote like a child who is taking the first lesson in the university and asked relevant questions. On the 29th, again, this time he moved us away from the office to the governor's lodge, and we were expecting another. He brought us under the moonlight, relaxed over a tea and coffee. It took several hours of conversation, and you won't believe it, he was deep in his questions. And so he came out as an uncommon governor in the area of peace. Like every other human being, he didn't have his feelings, but in pursuit of peace in Ebonyi, in pursuit of reconciliation in Ebonyi, he made it a top-notch administrative choice. And so what makes his leadership stand out? How has he managed, so to speak, to balance politics, governance, and peace building in a time of national polarization? To help us unpack these questions, we have gone to the length and breadth of Nigeria, as it were, to find one, a certified mediator, a conflict manager, a public affairs analyst, and in fact, the former PRO public relations officer of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators in Lagos State. He is not that person, and the nationally acclaimed public affairs, national, continental affairs analyst, Ambrose Igboke. Ambrose, it's a great honor to have you on this program.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's good to always be here.
Yes. He took to his verified Facebook handle to write. He said, last night, I was deeply honored to be inducted as a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators, ICMC, the highest professional rank in the institute. And he said, a journey I began in 2021 as an associate member. Continuing, he said, I shared this proud moment, watch his words, with the Chief Judge of Ebonyi State, Honorable Justice Elvis Anegu. During the dinner held in honor of the Ebonyi State Judiciary to mark the commencement of the 2025 and 2026 legal year. This recognition, the governor continued, is not just a personal milestone, but a reaffirmation of our shared commitment to peaceful conflict resolution and justice as pillars of good governance. Mediation and conciliation remain vital tools in fostering unity, stability, and progress. Values will continue to uphold in the administration of our dear state. Well, I couldn't really get that, but that's just what Governor Francis Nwifuru, right under the comment the builder, wrote a day after this. So Ambrose, I'm going to ask you, as a certified mediator and public affairs analyst, from your professional lens, what does it mean when we describe Governor Francis Nwifuru as a mediator extraordinaire, based on the outline I've given?
Thank you very much once more for having me on the show. You know, when we talk about governance, it entails so many things. And when you talk about a governance in a developing economy like Nigeria, it's even hard work. You need more hard work, and you need a capacity to be able to understand the dynamics of the people you are, having leadership on. There have been a lot of disconnect between governors and presidents in Nigeria and their citizens. And for any governor who wants to go at extra length to be able to build himself, to have quality of management and leadership, like what Governor Nwifuru has done, has to be commended. And so, one of the major duties that a governor does in a developing economy like Nigeria, is the issue of mediation, negotiations. When you go to, if you go to the government house anywhere, including Ebonyi and everywhere, the tons of letters that come to see that are written to the governor, half of them is petition. So you will see petitions at the local government level. So petition. Why are there petitions? Because the human relation, there are conflicts from disputes from that micro communal level to town level, to neighbors, to local governments, and then even statewide, and then even within boundary states again, and at the national level. So we know a corporate community, a corporate ecosystem, before somebody becomes a chief executive, watch all the bank MDs. You will notice that they have been trained. I remember one of my friends who got a job in one of the multinationals. The first they did was to take you to South Africa for 3 months training. They came back again, Nigeria, they continued training, almost training for 1 year. Why? Because they need to debrief you, all those things you had before, then they need to put in you. But again, so unfortunately, in our political system, that doesn't happen. So you see a lot of people just coming in. But for governors who now understand what leadership is, who understand the enormity of the job given to them, and now make personal efforts, despite the time constraints, to now start building themselves as leaders, then you now find out that such leaders will be highly commended. Just like what Governor Nwifuru. Remember, you see from your intro, you said he did it as a leader he started it as a leader of the House of Assembly, knowing fully well that he needs to train himself, because the House of Assembly is about concession building.
Yes.
It's about consensus. It's about negotiation. It's about negotiation with your colleagues. Bargaining. And then also going to even the government, the executive, to also, moving with the leader. Then also trying to make sure that the bills you bring in, when the support of your people or whatever passes through, I think it's not. So it is a theater for a depth negotiation. And he realized that, and said, okay, the foremost institute in Nigeria that is recognized by law to do mediation is the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators. And he went in there to say, okay, let me build myself. Imagine at that exalted position of a speaker, for somebody to now say, I want to learn, and went through the training and became an associate and a chartered mediator, suggests the fact that that person takes governance very seriously. So it is not surprising, therefore, that when he became governor, and just in the first 2 years of his administration, he felt it that it is very, very important that he elevates that knowledge that he has had to a level where he will now have more, built up to be able to tackle the challenges of governance every day. And he didn't do it the short way. There's this issue of in Nigeria, the guy has done it, that people should stop using doctor.
Yes,
even some people say whose school help, that school is a scam, but people want to apply do doctor in front of their name. Those days you used to put it in bracket or put it in inverted comma. But nowadays people don't put it, they just write it.
That's what one man. So one man Dr. Pom. Because he says his doctor will stop. The other one is a bracket.
It is a bracket. And that means that some people are stealing titles that they don't. But as you said, he said, no, I won't do that. Even when the title is given to me as honorary counsel, I won't do it. I want the full one. And he went through the process. So some people will say, oh, I want to do it because I'm an executive governor, don't train me. You want to twist. So, but because it's a prestigious institute and a reputable one, we don't do it. And then he knows that, and he says, okay, I will go through the training and become certified. So what this has done for him is to now, give, it's embodied with all the arsenal. So as a governor now, it's not just say, oh, executive stamp. He can now be as a mediator stamp. I have mediated this matter, and he can be enforceable in law, in the courts. So it's not even just about the when you sit to set up panels, you do this now. He can sit in mediation. It's a kudos to him. We want to congratulate him for taking that step, because a lot of his colleagues won't do it anyway. That's
sit down hours.
I sit down hours and do it. No, you won't do it. You want to interact. People even pay to collect awards in Nigeria. Different people pay for different groups to give them awards. And so, but for him, I wouldn't answer no. I will sit down through it. I will go through the training, and I must get it through merit. The person should be commended. That shows the quality of leadership that he has brought to fore in governance. That also shows the kind of personality he has built around him. And there's something about a leader. The body language, the actions the leader take, is where the followers also want to copy. So when you do those kind of things, and the judiciary people are watching you, and the people are also watching him, they will now know that if Oga can do this, then who are we not to do it? That also reminds me when we were in Lagos those days when Fashola was governor, when they said there was no siren. He didn't just make the pronouncement. He didn't use sirens. He stopped using sirens. Yeah, let me see the local government chairman or commissioner that will use a siren. So when you hear siren in Lagos those days, you say, this one just come. Now another governor from another. So this is also the body language, the optics. The leadership is providing for the people of Ebonyi is now concretized with this kind of actions, and it's not just speaking but also acting it out.
Yes, there was something else the governor said. While I think it was the time we were handling communication, active listening, and assertive communication, and he said, as a leader, I elect to listen to people who talk good about me. But I also make it a point of duty to as well listen to those who criticize me. And I was watching him. He said, do you know why that was necessary? so that I can balance the conversation and then make an informed decision. That when you have just one group of people singing your praises, that you lose fact of, you lose the other facts. You think things you are doing wrongly, you think you are doing them rightly. And so if you heard a governor say something like that, that is not only those who come to sing his praises, no, that is looking for those who are doing a critique of his government. What would you say to that?
That also goes to show that a mediator is talking. Because, in mediation, you always say that you hear all sides of stories. You hear that things are not what they seem.
Yes.
Until you peel the onion, what they call the onion peeling method. You keep peeling until you get to the heart of the matter. So in mediation, we also know that it's important to talk about feedback mechanism, and that is why communication is cyclical. It's not linear. Those days of Graham Bell and Harold Laswell and all those people, where they did communication as a linear, that you just push and it goes. Those days of telephone, Morse code and the rest. Because when you send telegraph, it doesn't come back. So it just goes. So there's some communication as a one-way traffic. But it was later, when we started saying that, communication is supposed to be cyclical. When you go, you send a message, it comes back, you get a feedback. So actions of government are supposed to be cyclical too. You do something, you have feedback mechanisms. But unlike what Governor Nwifuru is saying or doing, many governors are not doing the same thing, even at the national level. So once you have something that is not in tandem with the policies or you critique, people brand you enemies. That, oh, we are speaking against our governor, we are speaking against our local government chairman, we are speaking against our president, that you are an enemy. So they start branding you an enemy. So it is heartwarming to see that a governor in Nigeria of today can actually sit down and say, oh, I value criticisms, I value feedback, I value things that may not sound well in my ear, but because I want to listen to them to see whether there are places we are making, I want to listen to them to see whether there are things I can pick from that can strengthen what we are doing. That is rare in the politics of today we see in Nigeria. So for a man who does that, that means the man is grounded. That means it takes an intellectual, somebody of deep knowledge and thoughts process. It takes a logical mind. It takes a lucid mind to be able to accept the fact that there are various and varying degrees and shades of opinion that may not tally, but that may be substantial to what you are doing. And so that sets him apart. But most of the time, most of the governors we have in Nigeria, even at the federal level, once you say things they don't want to hear, and then they brand the enemy. So even Jesus, when people say, oh, there are some people said that you are Elijah, some people said you are John the Baptist, some people say, who do you say I am? It's very, very important. And when you are in that level of governance, there are lots of psychopaths around you, bootlickers, who just will say you are the best thing. In fact, some people give you powers that you don't have, that you are powerful enough to even take souls and all those kind of. So when you have all these people overshadowing and they're trying to even block people. So if the governor he knows that as a mediator, he has perfected the art of getting feedback, of knowing how to listen to the other conversation. Because people will just go, this person says something about, what Godfather said. When they say, oh, somebody came to the party, somebody said this about you. Well, not asking, I'm not surprised what those people said, because I know they don't like me by any. But what I'm concerned about, what were you doing in their midst? You say, what I'm concerned about, what you are doing in the midst of these people that they said those things. And so, and then he took the guy out. That means you're also an enemy. Yeah. So, so when a governor who is a mediator understands that perspective about like that, when you come to tell me about this, they will also take me to tell them. So, I'm very, very happy that a governor is having this kind of clouds in terms of deep knowledge, and I'm hoping that these kind of things that they copy from him, they should tell other his governor colleagues, let them also be able to, because most of our governors don't have how to manage their temperament in public, in private. We have governors who will talk. I remember the other day in Rivers State, the former governor, when he was talking to the traditional rulers of the state, that case, look at the way he was talking to them. They say, you small boy, where did you get the crown? This and that. If I remove it from your head now, So these are so they need to know the art of speaking, the art of empathy, the art of, so these are the things you learn as a mediator and be able to use it in your daily life, in whatever you do, especially at that level of governance, because the governor is the chief executive of the state, the chief security officer. He controls a lot of resources, both human and material and financial. And as a human, if you are not grounded, these things can easily carry you carried away, and you start assuming some kind of divine megalomaniac posture. But when you are grounded, like Governor Nwifuru, you don't understand that in mediation, you are nothing but a peace builder. You are nothing but a negotiator. You are nothing but somebody who coordinates human beings, somebody who coordinates resources, and to make the people happy. And you know, the end goal of mediation is always to to create happiness, to engender peace and cordial relationships.
Okay, flowing from there, I'm sure you're a keen watcher of the politics of the Ebonyi State, and you will agree with me, and I believe many viewers will also agree with me, that the Ebonyi politics that used to be very volatile. We'll give it to them then. Often divided along personality and party lines. However, it's a good became governor. I don't know how we had managed to calm the political waters in Ebonyi State. How does that speak of the man, Mediator Extraordinaire?
Well, this thing you're talking about, a colleague of mine in my Ph.D. class was a victim several times over. Sometimes we sneak and send it to our group, our Ph.D. group to from that time. I'm in prison, in Ebonyi State. Then, that was then. So I understand what you are talking about perfectly. So now, even as a minister, you can see that it's affecting the man. Some of his utterances has also been taken up, because I remember the first encounter I had with the ministry people at the Ministry of Works in Abuja, when he went to lock it of ministry staff.
Perhaps maybe we'll ask him to ask him to take the course immediately.
And let his big brother take that course, because he has shown that he doesn't know how to control his temperament. Look at the other altercation I had with Rufai on Arise TV. So issues coming up, and this is where you don't have total control. Then how much more when he was the governor in Ebonyi, when he had the total control? And then that's what the issues came up, because our governorship is not about might or rights. It's about ability to carry your people along, ability to navigate the rancorous nature of governance. And that is why there was always altercations. People were fighting. If you don't tell me what I want to hear that time, you are this thing. There was but it became a hotbed of things that should not be done politically. So you see people being thrown to prison. You see people being run out of town. A lot of people ran away. My friend had to relocate from Ebonyi that time to come rent a house in Abapaye.
So now,
moved his family. That was then. But from 2 years ago, we can see that he has gone back. He has gone back. 2 years ago, he has returned. His family has gone turned. People who ran away because of the volatile nature of the politics have all returned to. Most of them have returned to Ebonyi. So it just goes to show that it's not mouthing it. It's actually you can see that the mass action has actually engendered a season of peace. But remember that time now, some years back, even those of us who have not visited somebody, now when I see somebody from Ebonyi that time, I say, I hope you are not from Izzy or Isaac. Those communal clashes that were perennial. We're hearing about those clashes even in Lagos. And those are not good optics. And they keep on. Remember some people went missing also, all kinds of things. But in the last 2 years, those things are not happening. Because when a mediator takes over, he knows conflict mapping. He knows disputes. He knows how these things come on. And he knows how to tackle them. And that is what has been happening with Governor Nwifuru. Because as a mediator, you have known where the conflicts flashlights are. You have known, okay, what is the problem? What is actually causing this dispute? What is causing this conflict? You're able to dig. Remember digging deep in mediation. And these are the things I have learned, and these are the things I have known. So before this, I remember that every conflict starts with a simple disagreement. From disagreement, it goes to dispute. And then from dispute, it goes to conflict, war, and then conflagration happens. But he knows as a mediator that when it caps it down, when it before it snowballs into those monstrous postures, then it will be able to go. I think that's what will happen in Ebony.
Everything makes it into the headlines, but we bring you the full story. Join Uchenna Cyril Anioke, a renowned media personality and former president of the Nigerian Publishers Association, as he unpacks the real issues behind the news, from politics to public policy, economy to human rights. Nothing is off limits. Expert guest, in-depth conversation, local and global perspective. New episode every week on Facebook and YouTube. Watch now on Freedom Square TV. Follow for updates and behind the scenes clips. Beyond the headlines, beyond the news.
Welcome back to the show, and you are still watching Beyond the Headlines on Freedom Square TV. My guest is here, Dr. Ambrose Igboke. Doc, you just spoke to how Governor Nwifuru has managed to calm the political waters in Ebonyi State. But there is this part of the governor that I witnessed in Ebonyi, and he speaks to his humanity. He speaks to his enough members yesterday. When he arrived at the venue of the induction, I think he cited somebody who was his lecturer while he was a student. He was not sure it was the guy, because the guy wasn't looking very healthy, so to speak, by his own assessment. And he said he gently asked the chief judge, sorry, that man I'm seeing there, is he XYZ? I'll preserve the man's name. The chief judge said yes. He said he kept quiet. So when it was his turn to speak, the governor thanked everybody, thanked the ICMC. I said he wants to use this opportunity to speak to an issue. He says, please, if you're if you're not feeling well, don't hide sickness. He said, don't hide sickness. Nobody brings sickness onto himself, or a challenge, or a health challenge of any sort. Like, I really could recognize my former lecturer, and he's here. I needed to ask, and the teacher confirmed he was the person. You know, Governor came personally to meet that guy, and the breast guy was sitting next to me. And he said, I cannot be governor. But of course, he said, this man contributed to where I am today. We read through some law books. When I had issues, I went to him, and I'm governor. And this man is not feeling well. And nobody, see what governor has done that you can't even reach to tell me that he's not feeling well. Cut a long story short. He said, well, I want him to go to hospital starting from Monday, and please come to government house on Monday. I will make available to you 20 million naira to start your journey. Of course, you can imagine what happened in the hall. My friend next to me broke down in tears. I did, because there was something about this governor that really affected me as he spoke, and as he made those pronouncements. How does this sit with you?
In a country where even people you know, once you enter government house, at least they will not pick your call. Even local government chairman, some people, even SSS or SPA, they don't pick your calls. And they'll get a new line, so that the old people who knew them will not call them to disturb them. Because at that point, they just feel that everybody that comes to them need their money. So, and that's what many of them feel, woefully. So, it is very rare that even he was the one that sought the man out.
The man did not write to them.
The man did not write to them.
The man did not call him.
You know, but because chance brought them together. Some people, chance will not bring them together. Even when they are coming, you'll be shouting your name, the person will move away. We have seen it many times. And we have seen people, in fact, the game now is in Nigeria, when your friend gets a political appointment or is elected a big man, just leave him till he finishes. Then maybe it's after his 4 years or 8 years, you can now come back and say, you don't finish, or you come, who could continue. But because that is how they have, you know, that is the attitude of many of these people now. So it's we and them. So and they don't have this feeling, they don't have this empathy. So for him to do that, remembering that we said that the reward of teachers and lecturers are no more in heaven. They have to start here. Otherwise, by the time you go to heaven, you may not enjoy the full complement of what you're supposed to have here. Because on earth you did the job, so why wait for heaven? If he still remembers what the man did for him, and he sought him out, and he was humble enough to come down from right there, went to meet him. And there's some things you do to somebody, even that hugging, holding him, embracing him. The kind of empathy it will invoke in the person may not even celebrate that money you are giving as that empathy you have shown, and that is huge. There's another story. Recently, this year, the picture of Governor Nwifuru circulated very well, trended online very well. So I don't know whether it is him actually or someone that looks like him, but the photograph said it is him.
Okay, what happened?
They were using it to tell young ladies that you don't know who somebody will be in future. They said that the picture said, they showed the person looks exactly like him, so I suggest it's him. And they said that this is Governor Nwifuru as a young man who was struggling then with his wife. That either he was a bricklayer or something. There was one job he was doing then, and then that a wife stood by him, and that today he's the governor. That picture trended very well. So that is also the magic of going through the poverty, coming up, struggling, doing things, having goal, focus, and the rest, and not forgetting yesterday. A lot of people, you see, the problem with many of our office holders that they were so poor that they didn't know where the next meal will come from. And then when they became rich, they are still poor in spirit. The money did not change them. The money wasn't them. And that is why you see, oh, I wish Mama can see me now where I am now. Oh, we and them. Okay, I used to be. No. Don't come close and all those things. It's a bit to go and improve where you're coming from. That attitude of haughty nature takes over. But look at a man who, there was another video I saw online where, the governor, I think he went to commission, Governor Nwifuru, I think went to commission a project. And he was now coming back with his entourage. And I think the motorcade passed through a particular village he lived in as a young man growing up. And he told them to stop. And they turned back and he came to that compound that they have done the road. He was the one that he did the road. He didn't even know that the road, one of the roads he was approving was passing through there. So when he came down, he was even the one that called, Mama Kechi, he goes. So his people were looking at it. One man ran out of the compound and shouted, oh, Francis, They embraced him, and before you know, the whole compound people, gathered. And he started asking that, what was so mad? They say, hey, that one has died. He said, nobody told you. What was it? They said, one has located in the village, he got sick. He said, is he still sick? He said, yes. He said, no, that you need the contact, you need their contact. He called one of his aides to pick that. He needs to search out where the man is, So he was not telling his, his official people, his aides, that look, I grew up here. This woman did this for me, did this for me. He was not saying the things that they did, that without them, he would not have been able to survive that period. Where will he eat from and the rest? So you now answer so person that that's money. Now said they're not calling us, you're a big woman now. So that ability, he was not telling the young people, I lived here. I was once like you. Today I'm a governor. Don't give up just because you are disadvantaged. No, he started talking to them and they were so happy. And he promised that he now told them what do they want. Then I started naming things. He said, okay, I will come back to sit down with you people and find out what we can do for me to make sure. They talked about their school, that they needed upgrade and so many other things. And so that humanity, the humility, I think, as we said downtown, I follow come. Yes, but if you don't have it as a follow come, you buy it, you acquire it, and learn to be humble. Many of our political office holders and leaders are not humble. And that is also what you learn. And it's good that if we even have this as an innate quality, but it didn't stop there. He's even building it with this mediation. He has entered into and has become a fellow today.
Okay. If I may ask, what lessons do you suggest that other service governors and governors in Nigeria can learn from the calm but firm leadership approach of Governor Nwifuru?
Governance. I have lived in the north. I have lived in the Midwest. I have lived in the West. I have lived in the South. I have lived in the East. And one of the common denominators I found lacking in us here is respect for each other. We find it difficult to respect each other. Then when you now have the political power, the next thing is that you become so arrogant and you confine yourself the status of a demigod. And that's what we are having. So we are having a lot of governors. Some of the governors don't even sit in their states. Some live permanently in Abuja. So they don't even know what their people are suffering. So they come back to their state capital, make statements, and move again. You will not see them again until one. But you keep seeing them on national TV doing one thing or the other. And let's use your tongue to count your teeth. We know this governor that is doing that. And then some people allow issues to degenerate. When elections are getting close, they'll wake up and start acting. Then some people have this superiority complex, persona, where they feel that you cannot tell them anything and you cannot learn from anybody, maybe because you're a professor. You also know the person I'm talking about. Then there are some states that are trying, but also there are some states that are barricaded themselves in, they're where to have access to the governor becomes an issue. And that is why governors everywhere, not only in the Southeast, are having issues, because they have even lost touch with the people. All they have are facades, people who have put bottlenecks, middlemen. I remember they said that the former President Olusegun Obasanjo, when he was president, what he used to do most of the time is that when he goes for a visit, he looks for opportunity, no matter how, to have banters with the people directly. And that helps him to give him feedback. It was rumored that during the time of Abacha, that even the newspapers Abacha used to read were redesigned newspapers carrying the names of the original newspapers. It was that bad. And the whole thing was praising him. And when he started having issues about negative feedback, he was lost. It was like, what the papers I read are saying good things about. So those are the things. So a lot of the governors have locked themselves in, surrounded themselves with just their aides, and they've lost touch completely. And that's why some of the governors come to say some things. And you start asking this, does this man live in the moon? Or is it grounded here? So for a mediator is a preacher of peace. A preacher of humility. A preacher of empathy. So I think because Governor Francis Nwifuru have access to his colleagues, I think he should now start preaching the message of this kind of thing. Because when you go through mediation, there's no way it will not put something in you, the process of training of mediation. It will put something in you that will make you start saying things differently. In the court, on the position of that you're a peace builder and that you're a manager of people. And that people have emotions. You have to now learn how to manage their emotions and the rest. And that you cannot really know about people's problem if you don't get into it, bring it out from them and rest. So when they go for their Southeast governors, I don't know where they had that meeting last. I can't remember. So when they go to Abuja for their meeting, when they go for different fora, when they will have Governor Nwifuru as a peace builder, as a person who has empathy, can start preaching those kind of things to his colleagues too, and then they can now start seeing his own position and let him show them the results he has got. And I also hope that we'll recommend, if he has not done that, Governor Nwifuru, that he should start documenting some of these things about how mediation, how his disposition, and how his empathy and humility has been able to help him in governance, so that other people can learn, so that maybe after his 8-year tenure, we can now have like a book to guide, to articulate these things, so that they will not these are not abstract things that these things, when they you know, deployed in government, can actually yield results. I think we also have that trajectory. And then, of course, the mediators are here and the rest. It's good he has trained his own people as his judges. Other states should also do that too. And also, I heard about what he did for the consultants in the medical. He made a huge news, I think this year or last year, where he wants to say, okay, let's encourage you. We may not pay what Saudi Arabia is paying. We may not pay what the United States is paying, but let's give you some kind of welfare. I think I heard that he gave them a SUV and home, so that they will not be attracted to leave. I heard people even saying, some of my medical friends are saying that they want, some of them are even looking for jobs at Ebonyi State, you know, Ministry of Health, or even their teaching hospital and the rest, because they are paying. They say they are even paying above federal. They are paying above so many other states. And so, if a governor can do that to attract the people, and then I think Ebonyi State has been lucky. Ebonyi State has been very, very lucky since 1999. And then this one, Governor Nwifuru has taken it to all new level.
If you, the story you heard and the vision or what you see about Governor Nwifuru will show that he's a man that is emotionally stable. And so, from the background as a fellow of the Institute, how important is emotional intelligence in governance? Using Governor Nwifuru as our case study.
Well, Governor Nwifuru has been able to use that emotional intelligence to connect with the people. Because it's only emotional intelligence that make you be able to connect with people at all levels. Just recently, last month, I saw him at I think adoration.
You were doing the.
I saw that dance. I said, this man a village man. The way he was wearing his face and having that, I said, this man follow masquerade. Because he was so, and you could say that even Panamaka at the point stood and started just said, "Kai," you know, he couldn't even believe it, but he was just watching him. Yes. While other governors may come, smile, and do this,
the dance was natural.
And the thing, you know, this man was not looking at him like, you know, though, immediately for the thousands of people that were in that adoration ground, he connected because he was doing the things that they do, you know. So for him coming down, for that example I gave, he was not speaking English, he was speaking pidgin, heavy pidgin with them, and Igbo, you know, battering with them as if he was still living there, you know. That is the emotional, when knowing every stage of people, how to connect, how to make people feel special, how to know that the emotions of everybody, the sentiments of everybody are not the same, the ability to aggregate those things and make sure that it doesn't cause friction, the ability to know that Mr. A thinks differently, Mr. B thinks differently, and that the issues that they bring it in different manners. Some people will bring the same issue the hard way. Some people will bring it. Some people will say, "Hey, the governor is not working." He knows those emotions. Some of these things you may just smile and move on, and then think, what is the message, not how it is delivered. So these are emotional intelligence. What did he say? This road is bad. Is it really bad? But this man makes sense. So, you know, those are emotional intelligence. And if you have that emotional intelligence, like Governor Nwifuru has, you'll be able to now connect with the people. Once you connect with the people, according to agencies, they will say that one is straw plug. You know, then you are plugged in, the currents will move. And then you'll be able to now know what they even want. You'll be able to solve their problems. You'll be able to be an effective leader because you have been able to know what they want, how they want, why they want it, and what they don't want as well.
Okay, if you have the opportunity, like you have it now, to summarize the Governor Nwifuru's leadership legacy in a paragraph, in a sentence, as you deem fit, what will it be?
I will be that a man who rose through the dint of hard work, through the grace of his maker, God, and who realizes the fact that his position does not detach him from his reality, and who also knows that governance is not about might, but about serving the people, and also who has used his position to ensure that his people have lasting peace, development, and progress. Posterity will be kind to him.
And that's quite a good point to leave this conversation. Governor Francis Nwifuru's leadership story offers a refreshing counter-narrative to the crisis-driven politics that dominates public discourse in Nigeria. Through empathy, dialogue, and mediation, he has shown that power can be exercised with restraint and governance can be both firm and compassionate. With that, Mr. Igboke, I must thank you for finding time to be here.
Thank you for having me here always.
And we do hope that when we fight you next time.